Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed a verse basically asking Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu to forgive. Would he not like the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And in response to this verse, Abu Bakr changed his transaction. When he stopped the sustenance, he was allowing this other person to be the motivator of his behavior. He was letting the slanderer be the motivator of his behavior. But after he heard the verse, his behavior was motivated by Allah. His transaction was with Allah. And so he didn't just believe in the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he made a transaction with it. And he forgave the person, not because they deserved it, but because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves forgiveness. So for us to actualize Tawheed, it means that we are responding to the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our lives. That if we really knew Al-Kareem, we would be so generous. If we knew that all of what we have comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we would not fear decrease in our wealth. And I heard a story recently about a young brother in the UK, in England, and all he had was 150 pounds to his name. He had no more money. It was the month of Ramadan. All of the money he had was 150 pounds. And he said, subhanAllah, he said that in the masjid that he was in, they were doing fundraising. And he thought to himself he should hold on to his money. And then he realized, what is 150 pounds going to do anyway? What is 150 pounds going to buy me from this world anyway? He said it's like someone who has a toothpick in the middle of the ocean and they're trying to hold on to the toothpick to try to save themselves. And he said, instead, just throw the toothpick away or donate this toothpick. Maybe you'll get a big ship that will show up and save you. And so he said, subhanAllah, something so inspiring. He said, I had to realize that the source of my rizq was Ar-Razzaq. And so I gave all of this money, but I gave it shaking because I still had this fear inside. And he said, as soon as I gave the money, he said the floodgates of rizq were poured upon him. This is someone who was responding to the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Kareem, and not just in a descriptive way, but living with this name in his life. This is what Tawheed really means. The name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ar-Rabb, that He is our Lord, should inspire sincerity. The name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Hamid, should inspire humility. Al-Haq, that we should always be of those who stand for truth and justice and integrity. Al-Alim, that we should never debase knowledge. We should never debase knowledge.